Good evening, friends. Today, I thought that let me share a very interesting, summary of a great book by Dale Carnegie. I know you must be aware about the book. This is one of the best books ever written and published in the history of motivation. So this is the book which is written by Dale Carnegie, who is actually one of the greatest authors of the universe, I can say. And this book has been rated as one of the best books in the top 10 sold books across the globe in the history of motivational books. So today I got the opportunity to share the complete summary of this book, and I hope you're going to like the complete summary of this book, because going through the complete book sometimes is not that easy, and you because of time constraint or multiple other things, you really don't have that much time to go through the complete book. So how good it is and effective for you to get the summary of the whole book in 10 minutes. So that is what is the kind of approach which I thought that all those great books which are people really wanted to understand the complete gist of those books, but are not in a situation to read those books because of multiple constraints, including the time constraint, which is the most important one. So without any further ado, let me directly jump to take you to the whole summary of what I have made out of the complete book. So here it is. It says the first rule. A rule there are some around about 10 rules. Now they say how to win and influence people. The rule number one is you will have to motivate and encourage people for their efforts and not for the results. Many a times what happens is we always focus on the result, and we tend to forget about the efforts people have put in doing that particular job. So if you are a part of a leadership team, I believe and I strongly endorse the fact that you need to motivate and encourage people for the kind of efforts they are putting in order to do the job, and not the results, because result is something which is an outcome of your efforts, definitely. But sometimes, despite putting best of the efforts, you don't get the expected desired results. So in that case, if you don't appreciate and encourage your people, you might see that for the next time they will not be that motivated to do that same job again. So what is the summary of rule 1? The rule 1 says motivate and encourage people for their efforts and not the results. So the summary is, but do it genuinely and not with some manipulations. Like, for example, if you try to put some manipulation in terms of your encouragement and the motivation which you are giving to the people, they might, because everybody is smart enough to understand that you are genuinely appreciating their effort, or you are actually doing some manipulation in order to get the results. So whatever you do in order to appreciate the efforts, do it genuinely, that too without any manipulation. That is rule number 1. Let's see the rule number 2. The rule number 2 is encourage others to talk about themselves. Now, what usually we do, we always try to speak about ourselves when we tend to interact with anybody, because we always feel happy for the self appreciation. But that, I believe, is not the right approach, and I really endorse the fact by Dale Carnegie, who has specifically said that you need to encourage others to talk about themselves, because people are 100 times more interested in themselves and their problems than in you and your problems. If suppose I'm here to talk to you, I might not be interested in listening to your problem. Rather, I would be much more happy in sharing my problem, because I want the solution for my problem first, then I would like to give it to you. So you need to encourage others to talk about themselves. So what it summarizes, it says people are 100 times more interested in themselves and their problems than in you and your problems. It's obvious, yeah. So if you want people to like you, talk about themselves and don't talk about yourself, because people always love to listen about their traits rather than listening to who you are or what are your specialities. So if you encourage others to talk about themselves, you give the opportunity to them to talk about and explain about their achievements, their good things, good traits, they will feel highly influenced. So this is the second way to interact with the people, to influence them, and to win their heart. So rule number 2 is encourage others to talk about themselves. Now let's jump to the rule number 3. Rule number 3 says be genuinely interested in other people, because I believe people will open up more and will be more closer to you if you are genuinely interested in other people. You will make more friends in 2 months by being genuinely interested in other people than in 2 years by trying to make people interested in you. This is what I am not saying this. This is Dale Carnegie, who is the author of this book. He says that if you can actually make more number of people in 2 months by being genuinely interested towards them, then talking about yourself, you will have less number of people interacting with you, and if you see the number of years you have put in doing this, it will cross 2 more years. So that's rule number 3. So what is rule number 4? Rule number 4 is don't resist people, you will have to agree first. So many a times what happens is when we are interacting with somebody and somebody has a nonsense idea as per you, or he's talking rubbish which you feel, yeah, I'm just putting it in the inverted commas. So you need not to resist those people, you will have to first agree. That's the right way and right approach to influence people. Even if he is saying wrong, you will have to agree to what he's saying, because at least give him the opportunity to explain his fact and figure with you, so that he feels satisfied that you have at least listened to him. Okay, so when you agree in the initial communication of your talk, the resistance ends then only, and you can later put your point to convince others. That's what the rule number 4 says. Now, let me directly jump to rule number 5. And before I jump into rule number 5, don't worry, I will give you the complete summary of this 10 rules, which I am just sharing with you, so that you need not to skip any rule, because you are just watching my video. So the summary will give you the complete gist of what I have shared with you, so that at one glance, in just 1 minute, you will get to understand what I have explained in the past 10 minutes. So let's jump to the rule number 5. Rule number 5 says that if you want to really influence and win the people's heart, you will have to appeal to their noble motives. Because if someone doesn't want anything to be done, then respect their request and win their confidence. Because many times what we feel that, if I have something to say, it has got some logic, it has got some understanding, and it is actually going to help others. It is absolutely as per you and could be right as well. But if somebody doesn't want you to do that, then you will have to respect their request and win their confidence, because we have to sometimes change ourselves, our communication, our presentation, our whatever we are saying, as per the expectations of the person with whom we are interacting. That's rule number 5. Now let's jump into rule number 6. Rule number 6 says talk in terms of other people's person's interest and not your interest. Because if you start talking about your interest, I think the one who is listening and interacting with you might not be interested, because you are talking about your interest. So to influence him, you will have to talk in terms of his benefit. You will have to talk in terms of his interest. Because when someone goes to any website, I'll just give you an example. Yeah, you go to a website, they will ask you for your email, contact address, and they will ask you tons of things before they offer the solution to you. Do you think you are really interested in giving your details to them before they are giving and sharing anything with you? I believe this is absolutely the wrong strategy opted by any company who is actually following this strategy. So to me, offer them some benefits of their interest, and after that ask them about their details. That's what I feel. So how do I correlate it to the rule number 6? It says that talk in terms of other person's interest and not your interest, because it will help building their trust on you. What do you exactly, if you see what do they want and what are they interested in, give them that. So my specific focus is talking in terms of other interests is the direct route to their heart. So if you want to get into the directly penetrate into heart of anybody, you will have to actually talk about his interest. That's rule number 6. Now jump into rule number 7. Make the other person feel important and do it very sincerely. I'm just repeating, make the other person feel important and do it very sincerely. Because I believe if you try to prove people how intelligent or smart you are, you may fail in terms of influencing them. So don't talk much about yourself. Don't try to make yourself feel important, and don't try to prove people that you are intelligent or smarter than them. You will have to make them other person feel important, and and you will have to put that importance with genuinity. It should reflect in your body language, it should reflect it into your gesture. Otherwise what happens is sometimes, we try to manipulate and try to feel, let the other person feel that he is important, but we are actually, our body language is speaking and showing something different. So in that case, the other person will come to know that you're doing it just without your own will, and you're trying to, impress upon him by showing this show off kind of gesture. So what is more important? People make a mistake, that's for sure. Everybody makes a mistake. I make a mistake, you will make a mistake, and everybody makes mistakes, yeah, right? So people make a mistake by trying to show to others about their achievements. We always try to show our achievements, right? But that is the exact opposite of what we must do to people to like us. We have to make people feel that you are important, and what I'm saying that you are important, I'm saying it with genuinity, I'm saying it with commitment, I'm saying it with sincerity. Yeah. Let me further extend this rule number 7. So we must make other feel important than trying to make yourself feel important. Very important, right? What did I say just now? I said we must make others feel important than trying to make yourself feel important. Because if you feed this desire of others to feel important, then you are feeding your own ego. Because what you're doing is you are actually, feeding the desires of other people to just boost your own ego. Yeah. Let me directly jump to rule number 8, which says ask questions instead of giving orders. Sometimes what happens in your day-to-day practice, you have seen that, usually the big boss in the company and other senior leaders, they will come to you, they will try to feel that they are big and powerful in the organization, and they will start ordering others, including you. Do you think it is right? It is absolutely a wrong approach. Instead, you can never get the respect through your position. Rather, in this rule 8, I would like to add one very important thing that is called as positional power or personal power. Do you know? I would, before I get into this positional power and personal power, I would like to give you a parallel example, very live example of Amitabh Bachchan and Abhishek Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan holds personal power, and Abhishek Bachchan holds positional power. Personal power is far, far bigger than positional power, because personal power doesn't need the backup of any position. This is the power achieved because of your own traits. This is the power which you have achieved because of the confidence you have built in the other people by, showing what you are saying. Yeah. So usually you will have to ask questions instead of giving orders. So as a big boss, if you are giving orders to your people rather than asking questions, I think this is the weird approach you are opting in order to, influence the people. They will not get influenced, they will rather get suppressed. Yeah. So let me further extend it. Asking questions saves their pride, and they don't feel like being treated as a servants or junior. Because if you ask questions to them, they will feel happy that, my boss is asking questions to me, should I do this, should I do that or not. So they will feel, and they will feel that, they are being given priority in order to get their views as well. Why? Because people are most likely to follow something if they had their hand in its conceptualization. Whatever you, if you ask questions to them, if you are following their suggestions in order to implement this strategy, don't you feel that they will actually genuinely do that kind of strategy? If you are making them a part of your own strategy, if you're taking their feedback and their views in order to ensure that the strategy is being implemented right, I am very sure that your strategies will be absolutely in sync as per your expectations, if you allow your subordinates to share their feedback as well, in order to while you are making the strategy. Now let me jump to rule number 9. Rule number 9 says that you need to use encouragements and make their fault seem easy to correct. Because everybody, we as a human being, don't you think we can commit mistakes? Absolutely right. Anybody and everybody can commit mistakes, and they are committing mistake, and they will continue to commit mistake. But in order to point out their faults, if I do the other way around, if we encourage them and make their fault seem easy to correct, so the possibility for them influencing getting influenced is very high. Because even though they have done some kind of mistakes, they have done some kind of silly, they have done some kind of fault, then you will have to encourage them to find out some alternatives to correct that mistake, rather than bouncing on to them and shouting at them. That will actually enlarge the distance between you and the people. So correct their mistakes by suggesting them and supporting them through logic. Possibly they're going to accept you and your idea, which is going to be very much acceptable. So use encouragements and make their fault seem easy to correct. That's rule number 9. Now coming to rule number 10, it says you will, I think it's I can name it as a meta level principle. What it says, it says if you want people to like you, you must like them first. What we do, we always try to get that kind of kind of feeling that even though you don't like X, you don't like Y, you don't like Z, but X, Y, and Z should like you. That is the actual psychological perception everyone has. So the problem is that what Dale Carnegie says, that if you want to really influence the people and win the hearts of those people, you will have to have an approach which says if you want people to like you, you must like them first, and that should reflect into your behavior. It should not happen that you keep on saying about and keep on boasting about their, or keep on over encouraging them by your artificial gesture, which may be quite natural, which may seems natural initially, but eventually it will drill down to an area where they will come to know that this is also all fake. So like the people genuinely, and it should reflect in your actions as well. You can motivate, you can inspire, you can influence and lead them. However, having said this, if you don't, none of the rest 9 principles which I just shared, they will not work. So if you want people to like you must like them first. Now let me give the summary of the 10 points which I have just now shared with you, the summary of the whole book, How to Win and Influence People. Rule number 1, give people the fine reputation to live up to. Rule number 2, encourage others to talk about themselves. Rule number 3, become genuinely interested in other people. Rule number 4, don't resist people, agree first. Rule number 5, appeal to their noble motives. Rule number 6, talk in terms of other person's interest. Rule number 7, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. Yeah. Rule number 8, ask questions instead of giving orders. Rule number 9, use encouragements and make their faults seem easy to correct. Rule number 10, to get people to like you must like them first. And to me, if you ask me that what is the first rule you will follow, so the first rule I will follow is going to be the last one which I've told you. Yeah, it is other way around. So for me, if I have to influence and win people, I will always focus on liking the people first, then let them like me first initially. So to get people to like you must like them first. Dale Carnegie has actually done a fantastic job by pondering on all those factors and collecting them and putting them into one single book. I think he really needs a kind of salute and standing ovation from at least me, because the content what he has put it into the book is fantastic, which is the complete summary of how to win and influence people. And I believe he, doing all the 10 principles is like an ideal situation. Yeah. Might be, you might not be able to do that, but even if you are able to do 7 8 points which I've just now shared, I believe you can be a great person, you can be a great leader, you can be a great personality, and which will help you grow in your both personal and professional career. So let us win the hearts of people and influence them by using maximum of these points, and ensuring that we endorse all these points in our personality first, rather than expecting it from others. So I believe you must have liked my presentation. If you really like this kind of sessions, so I will do one thing. I will put the summary of all the great books in 10 minutes, and will try to share with you in future as well. Only thing is, I really need your genuine feedback rather, in order to get my own confidence boost up. So please help me by sharing your genuine feedbacks, number one. Number two is, please help me by establishing my channel, in order to ensure that my dream comes true, in order to make my channel a bigger one. So thank you very much for being with me for such a long time, and have a wonderful day ahead. Please like, subscribe, and forward my videos to all your friends, and to those where you feel that it can help them understanding the concept well. Thank you very much.